The palace isn't just whispering tonight, it's boiling, trembling, practically vibrating with chaos. And all of it circles back to one woman whose world has just shattered right under her feet. Meghan Markle is said to be absolutely shaken, and honestly, after hearing what happened, anyone would be. Because sources, real people close enough to smell the palace carpets, claim the royal family has just slapped down the boldest move of the year. Meghan Markle has allegedly been blocked from returning to the Invictus Games. Not delayed, not restricted, blocked. And the way it happened? Oh, it's vicious, cold, surgical. Apparently, Meghan had been planning her grand comeback for months. The kind of comeback she thought would remind the entire world that she still had influence, flair, and a spotlight just waiting for her command. She'd already picked out outfits, coordinated glam, teams, and had reportedly pitched Netflix an emotional, teary-eyed, slow-motion documentary about her meaningful journey back to wounded warriors. This was supposed to be her Princess Diana rebirth moment, at least in her mind, the kind of public redemption arc celebrities dream of. But while Meghan was fantasizing about cameras, storyboards, and emotional violin music, something completely different was brewing behind closed doors in the palace. And trust me, it wasn't tea. Sources whisper that King Charles, Prince William, and Catherine were having secret, strategic, calculated discussions about one thing only, the Sussex problem. And the conclusion? Meghan Markle would not under any circumstances be welcome at Invictus. And they wanted that message sent so clearly that even California sunshine couldn't blind her from the truth. What makes the timing brutal is that this all reportedly unravels just weeks after Harry's controversial Canada trip, the one he allegedly didn't tell the palace about, the one that left royal aides sprinting around with confusion and irritation. That little stunt apparently became the final crack in a wall already ready to crumble. You know those moments where a family collectively sighs and goes, enough? Yeah. That was this moment. The final no Meghan verdict allegedly came during a tense conference call between senior palace officials where every working royal voiced their concerns. And the concerns? Oh, they were blunt. Meghan's Hollywood spectacle, her photographers, the Netflix obsession, the way her presence suddenly turns any event, even one meant for wounded veterans, into the Meghan Markle show. They felt Invictus had become a backdrop for her personal drama, and they were done with it. But here's where the story turns from dramatic to downright jaw-dropping. Because while the palace was quietly shutting doors, Meghan was already trying to push them open. Sources claim she'd started contacting veteran organizations, asking for meetings, appearances, photo ops, anything she could attach her name to. She was convinced she still had the golden ticket, the royal title she keeps dangling, the memories of her past Invictus appearances. She thought all of that guaranteed her place. Instead, she got slammed with a reality check so hard it reportedly left her in tears. Through back channels, private, silent, and undeniably sharp palace officials allegedly made it obvious. Meghan Markle's presence would not be accepted, supported, or tolerated. Not as a guest, not as a VIP, not as Harry's +1, not even as a shadow in the background. Zero. No red carpets. No surprise interactions. No soft-focused Netflix footage of her hugging injured veterans. Nothing. And when this news hit Montecito, insiders described the aftermath as volcanic. They say Meghan was furious, devastated, pacing through the mansion, making frantic calls, trying desperately to figure out how this happened. She reportedly began calling former palace staff, old courtiers, even distant royal relatives, begging for help reversing the decision. Some sources claim she broke down multiple times during these emotional pleas. One rumor suggests she even considered flying to London uninvited to confront the royal family personally. Can you imagine? Meghan Markle showing up at Buckingham Palace's gates like, "We need to talk." Her own team had to convince her not to do it, telling her it would turn into the biggest PR disaster of her life. And still, it gets worse. Sources claim Meghan also reached out to several high-profile veterans she'd worked with before, hoping they would publicly back her return. But those conversations allegedly didn't go the way she wanted. The veterans reportedly expressed concerns about how the cameras overpower the cause whenever she's involved. They didn't want the games turning into a Netflix event. One insider even whispers that Meghan tried to leverage Netflix connections, saying Invictus could benefit from the exposure and financial support of a streaming partnership. But that attempt apparently backfired in the most embarrassing way possible. Invictus organizers wanted none of it. They allegedly shut down the idea instantly, refusing to turn their sacred event into a reality show. Then, the ultimate blow. The one that reportedly broke Meghan completely. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, was being invited to attend certain Invictus events in an official capacity. That alone, sources say, sent Meghan spiraling. She wasn't just excluded, she was replaced. Replaced by the woman she spent years trying to outshine. What happened inside the Montecito mansion after that was, according to insiders, explosive. Staff reportedly heard shouting, doors slamming, Meghan crushed and raging at the same time, grappling with the truth that the royal family had shut her out entirely. The same royal world she once thought she could modernize, reshape, maybe even dominate, now wanted nothing to do with her. And as Meghan's team scrambled to create alternative events, backup veteran visits, charity appearances, anything to salvage her image, even those organizations were reportedly hesitant. Nobody wanted to inherit the drama surrounding her name. But then came the moment that hit Meghan harder than anything else. Harry himself was warned. Sources claim the palace told Harry directly that he was welcome at Invictus, but Meghan wasn't. They allegedly told him her presence would cause drama and distract from the veterans, that she was not to attend under any circumstances. Imagine Meghan's reaction to that. Insiders say she was crushed and enraged, questioning how Harry could allow his family to embarrass her so publicly. Word is, the arguments between them grew so heated that staff were instructed to leave the property whenever it happened. And Meghan? She reportedly demanded Harry take a stand. They say she asked him to boycott Invictus entirely if she wasn't allowed to go. In her mind, if he attended without her, it meant he chose the royal family over her. It meant she wasn't the priority anymore. Meanwhile, Harry, caught between the veterans he loves and the woman he married, was unraveling. Sources describe him secretly reaching out to Prince William, hoping to negotiate some middle ground. But the answer was firm. The palace would not change its decision. Behind the scenes, the pressure was allegedly destroying Harry's mental stability. The veteran community he always loved, trusted, and worked with now questioned him. His wife was demanding loyalty through sacrifice. And the royal family offered him one final chance to be involved, with strict rules: come alone, no Netflix, no stunts. But while Harry battled his conscience, the royal family was executing a larger strategy. Because the Invictus block wasn't random. Insiders say it was months in the making, a carefully constructed operation to isolate Meghan without ever speaking her name publicly. William reportedly coordinated with organizations across the board, ensuring Meghan's suspected reputation preceded her, and Catherine was quietly stepping into roles Meghan once held, but doing so with grace, zero drama, and genuine connection. King Charles, meanwhile, was allegedly working behind the scenes internationally, letting Commonwealth nations know how to handle unofficial Sussex visits. A silent freeze-out, no confrontation, just closed doors everywhere she turned. Celebrities even started distancing themselves. No one wanted to anger the real royal family. And then came perhaps the most devastating part, the truth from veterans themselves. Many had long been uncomfortable with Meghan's involvement, saying her presence turned their achievements into background noise, saying her team demanded special accommodations, saying cameras and documentaries overshadowed the athletes. Some even wrote letters, confidential, emotional letters, detailing how they felt used for her public image. And then, the Netflix bomb. Netflix reportedly had an enormous plan, a dramatic, emotional, multi-episode arc built entirely around Meghan's return. They allegedly wanted exclusive rights, private therapy scenes, trauma interviews, emotional breakdowns, material that no veteran wanted to hand over for entertainment. When the palace learned this, King Charles shut the door permanently. Meghan's return wasn't just denied, it became impossible. Sources say she's been pacing the hallways at night, fiercely scribbling in notebooks, calling PR strategists, and trying to craft a new angle, something that could spin this catastrophic humiliation into a sympathy arc. Her team reportedly told her that she needs to control the story before the royal family does, and Meghan, being Meghan, took that advice like oxygen. Her response to Harry's pleas? According to sources, if they don't want me, why should you want them? And that one sentence, that emotional dagger, reportedly cut him deeper than anything else. Because Invictus wasn't just a project, it was his heartbeat, his purpose, his healing. And now, Meghan was framing it as a loyalty test, but behind their walls, something else is unraveling, something neither of them can stop. Because the veterans themselves, the people Harry fought so hard to help, are taking action of their own. Multiple sources claim several Invictus athletes, including medal winners, have privately told organizers that they're relieved Meghan won't be allowed back, not because they dislike her, but because they're exhausted by the drama that follows her like a shadow. They want the spotlight back on recovery, strength, and resilience, not Hollywood arcs. And what's even more shocking? Some are allegedly preparing to speak publicly, not in a cruel or vindictive way, but truthfully, honestly, calmly. They want people to understand why this decision was necessary. If those voices speak out, Meghan's entire media strategy collapses. Netflix, sensing the heat, has reportedly paused anything Markle-related until the public climate stabilizes. Insiders whisper that executives don't want to risk being seen as capitalizing on veterans' trauma, especially now that the palace is fully aware of their behind-the-scenes proposals. Meghan was hoping Invictus would give her the emotional centerpiece for her next big documentary, the rebranding she desperately needs. But without Invictus, that storyline dies. And now, she's scrambling. Her PR team allegedly suggested pivoting to women's empowerment events, Hollywood charity galas, or even a new personal memoir. But Meghan, insiders say, is obsessively stuck on Invictus because losing it feels like losing the last meaningful link she had to the royal world she walked away from. Meanwhile, the palace moves forward without a flinch. Sources say Catherine is preparing for several military-related engagements, all coordinated quietly and respectfully. No cameras, no staged emotional moments, just genuine service, the kind Meghan always claimed to value but never truly embraced. And Harry? He's spiraling into a crossroads that could reshape everything. He reportedly told a friend, "I don't know how to be a husband and still be the man Invictus needs." That's the heartbreaking part, because one path leads to saving his marriage, and the other path leads to saving himself. And the royal family? They're watching. They've withdrawn entirely from the drama, refusing to respond, refusing to engage, refusing to give Meghan the emotional feud she wants. The silence is their strategy, and it's working. Meghan reportedly feels more isolated today than at any point since stepping down as a working royal. Even Hollywood circles are quietly distancing themselves, not wanting to be dragged into a royal freeze-out. The last whispers coming out of Montecito suggest the couple is hanging on by threads, emotional threads, fraying with every headline, every leak, every reminder that the world has changed. Harry allegedly spends nights staring at old Invictus footage, while Meghan sits in another room scrolling through social media comments with growing paranoia. Both of them trapped, both of them hurting, both of them refusing to admit how bad things have become. And as the world watches from a distance, waiting, whispering, analyzing, speculating, one thing is becoming painfully clear. This isn't just another royal drama. This is the turning point, the moment everything begins to crack. And the next move, it won't come from the palace. It will come from Meghan. And when she moves, it will shake everything again.